Welcome, everybody, to tonight. We are showing up here live. My name is April Tribe Juke, and I'm here tonight with Willow Green. And I'm broadcasting tonight from Kyle, Texas. And Willow, where are you broadcasting tonight from?
Currently, I am in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Wow, Michigan. So I hear that you kind of travel around a lot of places. That's really, really cool. So if anyone else is showing up live, looks like I've got some people here. Please share where you're from, put it in there, pop it up, and let's see if we can get some more comments going and really get the evening into such a flow. It looks like Lori Jean Jones is here. She says, I've got this marked on my calendar. Thank you, Lori, for being here. I think you're going to be blown away. Lori is somebody who has gone through a lot of different challenges in her life, and she's now reached a point where she really acts on that movement of faith in her life. And so I'm really happy that you're here, Lori, and welcome anyone else. Please pop it in and drop it in below of where you are. It looks like, oh, check it out. We've got a from Sundance. Hey,
Yes.
Brian Jackson. Thanks so much for popping up in here. I know Willow, look at that smile from ear to ear. She's got a connection with you, and that is awesome. That's great. Fantastic. Thank you so much for popping in. Well, it looks like since we've got people coming, let's go ahead and hit it. So, Willow, share a little bit about yourself and why you're here tonight.
Well, the first reason I'm here is because you invited me, which is thank you so much for inviting me in. And it's been a pleasure having our friendship and working together and writing our books together and going through this incredible journey. And I'm excited to share my journey and my book, Rewriting Your Reality, and help people really, truly understand you are only one choice away from your dreams. It's really a lot easier than we make it out to be.
I agree. It is this concept of one choice. It's like anything. If you just set on an airplane course, just 1 degree, you're going to wind up eventually somewhere completely different. If it's just the tiniest choices that make all the difference. I always say this line upon line, the concept of where you go, it's really intentional and you have choice. So since you've touched on the topic tonight, which is you're one choice away from finding your light, why don't you share a little bit more about that with everyone listening in tonight?
Well, in the morning when we wake up, it's like most of our day we're going through our pre-programming. Every day our thoughts are unconscious. And so by just changing one thing, it changes, like you said, the entire trajectory. So we're one choice away that shifts us. And then it's one choice by one choice and one choice. And all of those little tiny choices add up to so much more.
Right. And in that, what do you experience when you are out making these kinds of choices every day? The bigger question is, do you help other people make choices like this?
That's a multi-layered question right there. The everyday, every day when I set my intention, our mind seeks evidence to the questions we ask or the intention that we're setting. So we're resetting our intention and moving through the world. By helping other people, I help clients, I help myself, and it's an interesting question that I don't even know how to really go deep into this. Because a lot of times we help other people just by me choosing to make a new choice and show up with love and intention. It allows people to see what the possibilities are. And so I live every day with intention. I make every move with intention. I choose with intention. I speak with intention. Everything is very intentional.
Wow. How did you come to understand why this intentional living is so important for your life as well as for, I'm assuming, all of us?
I think it was when I got sober over 5 years ago. I went and did a shamanic herbal apprenticeship and lived in the mountains with this amazing woman who taught me a lot. And during one of our experiences, I said something and her response was, you have a choice. Do you want to be that or do you not want to be that? And that was the first time in my life I truly understand I had a choice. Prior to that, I was going through the motions and doing what I was programmed to do. I didn't recognize I can choose to go meditate and change my mindset. Once I realized that mindset is everything and that our mind seeks evidence to what we program in it, I started taking a deep dive and learning how to reprogram my mind.
Wow, what happens in the reprogramming of your mind? Like, how do you do that?
Well, it's asking new questions for one. A lot of those questions I go over in my book. Each chapter shares an experience that I had, and then what I learned from that experience, and then new questions to reshape my mindset. I also learned that when setting these intentions, how we word it is so important. Trying is lying. You're either doing or you're talking about doing. Trying, wanting, hoping, all of those are not your reality. They're your story. And so changing your story to the present and then taking action shifts everything. I call it story medicine.
Oh, I love that. Story medicine. Is that in your new book of Rewrite Your Reality? This whole concept?
I think I do talk about story medicine in it a lot. I talk about story medicine and NLP. Those are a lot of what I use to change people's stories. And when I work with clients to reprogram them, that's a lot of what we do. We go into the story and then dig deeper into what that story, how that story has meaning in your life, and then rewrite the story and reprogram the experience and take that even deeper into a level of feeling. And it shifts the energy and all the experiences leading up into the present.
Wow. That is some big, deep work. I think some people might look at that and think, whoa, I'm out of here. I don't know anything about that. What are you even talking about? So here's my question. This is what you do. You know that it works. You know you've experienced it, and other people are now experiencing it. My question is, what attracts them to you so that they can then start to change? Like, how do you find the people that want this?
I don't. They found me. I think I have complete faith. You either have faith or you don't. And I live in a place of complete trust. And I believe that the people that want the transformation and the experience that I offer find me, and it just works. They can find me through my website too. But most of the people that I work with, it's referrals. And people don't work with me unless they actually want change. I don't push people. I open up a door and I say, either you want this or you don't. It's going to hurt. You're going to cry. It's going to be painful. And on the other side, it's going to be the most rewarding experience that you will ever have. But you have to trust and you have to want it.
Wow.
And if you do, we can walk through this together.
That's amazing. The understanding that right up front, hey, you want to come? This is going to hurt. Hey, you want to come? It's going to be filled with pain. Come on in, because I can promise you on the other side, peace, understanding, clarity, things happen when we go along a journey. So I'll just share a tiny experience with this. So this summer, we've had a lot of time together, right? And so I thought it would be a good time to share one of my favorite stories with my children. The whole saga of Lord of the Rings and everything. And as I'm sharing these stories, I had a question was raised by my 8-year-old, and he says, well, how did this even start? So then we started talking about the story prior to, about the Hobbit. And the concept was, he was comfortable there. It was fine there. He loved his routines, all of the meals, everything was right there laid out. And we don't go and shift and change. Yet there was a catalyst that popped up that said, maybe if we can encourage you to go out that door, your life could ultimately change. Now, thinking about that, I know it's a story, but he went out, he had his adventures brought back a ring that eventually someone else had to follow through and finish. The point is, if he wouldn't have taken that step out that door, what was the possibilities that could happen? Oh, that's just a story. It doesn't matter. But my children right now are thinking, I wonder what could happen if I take my step into something that I might not know what's going to happen. So it's really fun as a mom to say, "Ooh, look, we've got some wheels turning there." So I have a big question for you, Willow. Did you always live your life in this manner?
No, I actually grew up trapped in a state of fear and in complete victim mode. It wasn't until I got sober and was actually scared for my life. I actually have tried to commit suicide a couple times and lived through it. I was in so much fear, so much pain, and so trapped in being the victim that I didn't realize I had a choice. When I learned that I had a choice and disconnected from all reality and went into living with and having this shamanic experience, that road opened up lots of worlds, lots of experiences that I can't actually put words to or explain to other people, and help me see the possibilities.
Wow. So you had a catalyst moment of something had to change. And it looks like you started on the journey and you met with someone, and it's like you had all the tools right there. And there probably came a time in that where you're like, well, this was fun. I'm done. We'll see you later. And there was to say, you are free to leave. You are free to make these other kinds of choices. But what would happen if you make this one? I mean, that's that transformational type of experience. It is, like Lori says here on the comments, it is painful initially. And sure, it's like anything, getting that shot, sewing up the stitches, it does hurt at first, but afterwards the healing really starts. And in your healing journey, going from being an alcoholic, finding your sobriety, what now opens up your mind for anything else that you might need? We might have frozen a little bit, but in her new book, Rewrite Your Thinking, this is an amazing opportunity for many people to start to learn, to understand that they really do have choices. I'm a big component that ourselves, we have this agency, and it's possible to make decisions every day that can point us in a way that helps us to grow. Yeah, they're a little bit scary,
No
but
internet
when
accesses.
looks like that, hey, we're back. We're
Yeah, I
back.
had to come upstairs because I don't know if it's the internet access I had or what. So
No problem. No
sorry.
problem. No problem. Show us that book while you're up. We go anything live. This is what happens when we go live, right?
Oops,
The whole
I'm like,
point. Which way? I know.
I know. Okay, there we go.
Great. There we go. Rewriting your reality. Today, when you are helping your clients, what is something that you as a coach and working them through it helps them to, like, what do you love to watch them change? Like, what is the thing that for you are like, ooh, they're almost there? What does that look like and feel like for you?
Kind of like what you're seeing right now. You just get this look in their eyes. I'm like trying to figure this out. They get this look in their eye, and you can see that they're thinking. You can see their mind processing. You can see their wheels turning, and then they get this grin on their face because you can see that the new perspective is connecting. They can see a new view. They can see a bigger view, and they're getting outside of self and really connecting to something on such a bigger scale.
Oh, that's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
When they are connecting into that bigger than themselves, what do you find that their next actions are?
Viewing people differently, viewing experiences differently, understanding that their perspective of the situation now with a new perspective, a new view, and with the wisdom and knowledge gained from having been the receiver of that experience, allows them to recognize that even though this experience might have been painful or hurtful in that moment, it's actually this amazing gift that taught you or taught them so much. And it's this incredible ability to connect to others on an entirely new level.
Wow. In that connection of the new level, I'm sure you see probably miracles happen. Miracles for them, miracles for maybe their families that they're with, friends possibly, maybe even work. There's so many things that can happen when we push through the pain. And I love what Lori says. She says we can rewrite our story by our choices. That's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. Because when we relate to this victim side where there's a lot of pain and shame and we get stuck, it's just in a cycle. I call it a comfort cage. And that sounds kind of strange. Comfort? Well, it's comfortable because that's what you're used to, right? But in the moments of trying to reach out and find change, there is so much more that can actually happen. The happening piece of everything that Willow's talking about runs deep. I know she'll be popping back up here in a minute. So I want to just carry forward with what this type of thinking is. How many of you really act on your faith? What is it that might hold you back? I know that when we ask those questions, we kind of go, oh, sure, I'm not really going to answer that. But if we really think about it, what could be the change? I know for myself, I stood on a stage, and on the stage, it was in 2016. It was exactly 10 years ago at that point from when we had left domestic violence. And I was asked to come and present in front of about 600 people. And I remember standing there on that stage, making a choice to share the story. And it is true. I started to rewrite my story right there. And in the rewriting of that story on that stage, I noticed the choices I had. And one choice popped into my mind that it was now time to write my book. And I announced on that stage I was writing a book. And half of my brain was like, you haven't even started writing that book. And the other half said, well, you said it. You better do it. And yes, Lori, exactly. It took great courage. So we were just following through, Willow, with what you're saying. When we take these actions with great faith and we see these changes and perspectives happen, really life opens up into a way that just makes possibilities. So share a little bit about what's in your book that you would like to offer us tonight to encourage people to go out and find this for themselves.
A lot of what my book is about is I actually share really deep, vulnerable, raw experiences that I had. And I share the intentions that I actually set of how I wanted my life to be and then how they played out. And on top of that, then I share what I learned, the opportunity for the growth, the expansion, the aha moment. And then there's a list of questions afterwards that if people can see themselves in this situation to help them reset their mind and free them from whatever that experience is. There's a 30-page workbook that comes along with it to really help people learn how to ask different questions, to open up their mind and expand their way of living.
Wow, that is a lot of intense work. 30 pages. So just tons of different types of questions related to, I'm sure, what they've experienced. And wow, that's really vulnerable to try and share any of that. But you say people who want this are actually seeking you out. And that is so awesome. I'm wondering if Brian was one of these people up in Sundance who possibly sought you out. I have no idea. I'm just asking a question.
Brian is actually the Sundance chief, and we actually have talked a lot in great detail. I'm not going to share his what he wants to share is up to him. He is an amazing man, and he is a gift. He has read the book, and if you would like to share any of that, he's welcome to put them in the comments. I met him through another personal growth group, and there were two clients that were actually up at Sundance with me. It was an incredible experience.
Wow. It's just, how many of you can relate to any of this? Or when you're listening to it, kind of feel like, whoop, I'm a little freaked out. I don't know if I can actually commit and can, take that to heart. And what Lori says, it takes courage. It does. There's a bravery that in stepping into something that you might not know, but that's totally what complete faith is. Think about a child, right? You're asking them to trust, you're asking them to come, you're asking them, to do lots of different things. And because of the bond that they have with you, they trust you. So, Willow, who do you trust in this faith for yourself?
The unseen. I trust my inner knowing. I trust my intuition. I trust what some people call God, some people call source, some people call universe. The only thing that I know for a fact is that the more I learn, the less I know. And the more I trust, that the better my life works out.
Wow, that's really incredible. The more I trust, the better my life works out. So that's big. So you're no longer seeking to control. You are allowing things to happen and to let go. That's powerful. It looks like Brian does have a comment. He says that the book is amazing and Willow is the real deal. You guys have it right there. Brian is willing to put it out there on the line for his friend Willow. And I have met Willow in a few different arenas. Parts of my life, I would say, maybe we're in that cycle of the victim, or I'm not sure what could happen tomorrow. That feeling of everything. So when the story, what you say is something that you're projecting, and then when you hear it said out loud, it almost makes you sick. Like, oh, I'm embarrassed. Did I actually say that? And that's part of really owning, sure, you can live that way, or you can make a choice to change. And in making the choices to change, I agree, so much more opens up. It doesn't mean that you might not know, exactly what's going to happen tomorrow. That doesn't matter. You have a sense of peace and you have a sense of direction. And that is really key in acting for our lives, I feel. How would you respond to that, Willow?
When I showed up at Sundance on the 22nd, I had no idea where I was going to be going 2 weeks after I was done camping. I showed up there with zero attachments and zero idea of what was next. People asked me where I lived, and I said up on the hill right now in a tent. I had no idea. And now it's been a week since, and it hasn't even been a week since, I don't even know. I have no concept of time and space sometimes. But anyway, I'm going to work with a client in Ohio for a while and then head to Florida to do some work, and things just keep opening up. And that's because I trust everything and have no idea and no attachment to what it looks like. I think that was the biggest lesson I learned. Set an intention and then don't have an expectation on what it looks like. Because if I try to control what it looks like, I'll miss it. If I knew what it looked like, I'd know what to look for.
Wow. So say that part again about setting the intention, but not, can you repeat that again? That was really powerful.
I set the intention and I let go of any expectation of what it's supposed to look like. If I knew what it looked like, I would already have it. So I open my mind and say, this is what I want to experience. Guide me, guard me, protect me, and lead me to people, places, and experiences that will expand my vessel and allow me to experience more joy, love, and abundance than my mind can comprehend in this moment. So if it's bigger than my mind can comprehend, or it's an experience I have not had, how could I possibly know what it looks like? I have to be open, and then I feel my way in. And when I feel my way in, life happens. It's more magical and I have experienced more love, joy, and abundance than my mind could comprehend. I just keep being led to these amazing experiences.
Wow. through these experiences, you are meeting many, many different people, I'm sure. And Brian is attesting to one of them. He also has a great comment down here is that, go ahead, this is amazing. Willow gets you to look at yourself and then gets you to see the possibilities by asking the right questions, and then helps you set your intention for what you want. So that is a lot of breaking out of a routine to live that way. So I think the challenge tonight would be, how many of you really could set an intention, ask some questions of yourself, and see what could happen tomorrow? That truly is living by that faith. And it's amazing power. So thank you, Brian, for adding into the conversation tonight. It's been fantastic. And thank you, Lori, for showing up and sharing. And Willow, this has been something that is just on the surface. And I'm sure I think might have scared. We've got 9 people with their mouth open up here on the comments. I can see the little emoji of the wow kind of thing. And I mean, this is big stuff. So before we close, is there anything that you would like to share with the audience tonight that would leave them with an impact and possibly a challenge that they could set for themselves?
Ask yourself what you want, and then ask yourself how much bigger and better it can get. And then ask yourself, how can I align with this easily and effortlessly? And see what happens.
Wow. How many of you are ready to try this? I'm going to set an intention tonight and see what happens. Let go and trust. And we'll see what happens. I mean, more ideas might come flying at you, everybody. Sorry about that. The idea person here. So I don't really, sorry. I really love all these things that pop into my head. But wow, yeah, it's really true. Things can just happen, and the power of it is right there, because like you say, it is one choice away from finding your light. So anyone out there that might be suffering and being stuck in some type of a victim mode from abuse, from self-abuse, from anything where we have that depression or self-doubt, or our light is dimmed in any way, what Willow has offered here tonight is that she has experienced challenging things in her life and yet made a choice to set an intention with faith to see if there was more possibilities of love, hope, and engagement. I mean, it's pretty powerful. So Willow, thank you so much for sharing all of this with us tonight. And I hope that everyone out there has been uplifted and has felt something, and maybe we'll take that calling of that challenge to see what intention they could set. I would share that with Willow if you want to know if anything has changed. She's got there groovywillowgreen.com, and share with her. You can
I would love that.
Contact her on Facebook and see what other things that happen from setting this intention. I think it would be fantastic. So thank you so much, Willow, and we'll talk soon, everybody. Go out and buy her book, and we will see you guys soon.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, April.
You're welcome.